RAPID plus TCT, April in the D. We're in Detroit, Michigan, spring break capital of the world, and we have some of the hottest additive tech you've ever seen. Boom! Just like that.
We're in.
Look at that.
I'm here with Joel Telling at RAPID plus TCT in Detroit.
That's right, Detroit. April in the D, they say.
Wonderful weather.
It's perfect out here. It is a balmy, just above freezing.
So what's new? What are you seeing? You had AMUG last week?
No, I didn't get a chance to go to AMUG. I really wanted to. One of these days I'm going to make to AMUG. I've heard it's a good place to meet up with everybody, but I was just going to see everybody here anyway, and so I didn't have to worry about it too much. But one of these days I'm going to make it to AMUG. Let's see what's new. You know, since the last time we spoke, 3D Printing Nerd, we partnered with SparkFun to commercially manufacture the XRP robotic kits. So we have ourselves a print farm in Seattle. My wife actually runs it, and we produce these kits for SparkFun. And the initial order was for 80,000 parts. And so we got to put that together and manage the process and QC, package, ship, everything. It's been an incredible journey, because a lot of times I get to talk about 3D printers and the technologies around these, you know, the singular version of it. But when you have a farm of many machines, you know, it takes on a different meaning.
How many machines are we talking about?
We allocated 50 of the machines in the farm to this project. They're Prusa machines, Mark IVs, and they've been great. Like, it's great having this knowledge, this legacy knowledge of all of these 3D printers and kind of how to troubleshoot and how to work them. I think it really kind of helped me get the farm up and going as fast as possible.
So you're really a practitioner now.
Apparently so, yeah. Yeah, it works out. Well, then what's really great too is now with that knowledge that I've gained from running a print farm, now I can disseminate that to others who are interested in starting up with 1, 2, or many 3D printers.
Well, it's been a busy year for additive manufacturers.
That's for sure.
A lot going on, and now that you're part of this universe, you know, what is your outlook for the near term and for the future?
Boy, it is tough right now to do global business with what's kind of happening with the global economy. But I think that with additive manufacturing, we have an opportunity to bring manufacturing to a community level. I know we got a lot of really smart kids in the school systems, like in middle schools and high school. They've already got small business classes. We're talking with a lot of them that have manufacturing classes, and the manufacturing classes and the small business classes are actually collaborating and creating a small business within the school systems, and then branching out their manufacturing capabilities to other schools within the system. And I think that's where we kind of have to go with things. Like, we're always going to have a need for these massive 6-figure machines that produce these incredible parts for industries that are going to power the human race forward. But I think at the end of the day, we still need to utilize the community efforts to kind of bring the manufacturing home at the community level.
That's the interesting part about 3D printing is that it's both a hobbyist. You can do it in your backyard, in your garage.
That's true.
And rapid prototyping, going into the high volume production, going into all these cool applications, whether it's medical, aerospace, or automotive. So there's a lot to choose from. I was wondering on what you're working on, how young are the kids that you're working with, and what really is drawing them into the additive world?
I think, well, first of all, that's a great question. And a lot of people ask me that because you get a certain segment of people that are worried that kids are too young to be doing this. And I counter with, I'm like, you can give an iPhone to a baby and they'll know how to unlock it just because of how that UI and that UX have been designed. So if we think about 3D printing itself as a technology, what's going to make it more interesting for a younger crowd? Think middle school. Well, the movements of a machine and the ability to watch something build over time, and then at the end having it being immediately available to be taken off the build plate for them to utilize or give to their friends or whatever. That's kind of like that key demographic. You want to kickstart the imagination and the inspiration, so that as they approach the high school level, then they kind of have a knowledge of it. and they can hit the ground running with the programs that exist within that level to kind of utilize additive, the small business sense and the classes that are making the parts for the other schools in the districts. So I'm working with a couple school districts now to kind of implement those sort of ideas. It's crazy. Like you have these middle school kids, and you give them this technology, and their brains are unencumbered. Like you and I, we've got some gates in our brains. Like our thinking is kind of encapsulated in certain areas. Kids, they still have imaginary friends. They go crazy with the thinking, and they ask the questions that I don't even think to ask, and they do the things, and they try it in ways that I didn't even think of trying it. As an example, my nephew, he's 9 years old. We were on vacation in Hawaii, and Prusa just had their Core 1 3D printer. And I said, send it to us on vacation. So I took it to the beach, and my 9-year-old nephew was there with us, and he wanted to do some prints on it. So we made a video on my channel, him and I doing stuff. That inspired his parents to buy a machine for him back home, and he started printing stuff, showing it to his friends, and his friends wanted some of their prints, and so now he's interested, and now his friends are interested, and the teacher has seen it, and so the teacher, these are 9-year-old kids, the teacher might start to implement things that get the kids kind of exposed to this technology. I'm being a little wordy, I'm really sorry, but I'm really passionate about this. This is one of the driving factors. I always say that anything we can do to get kids more experience with an additive directly translates to real life experience that they can use on any of the machines featured here at RAPID Plus TCT.
So as I talk to some of the executives here, they want to focus more on real world applications, making a profit, less on innovation. But at the same time, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And being the 3D printing nerd, what are some of the cool things that you've seen lately, and what are you looking forward to here at RAPID?
Okay, there's two things I want to talk about. Do we have time? We have time? Oh, bless your heart. I like you a lot. So the first one, I got to play with this new strong resin from Formlabs, and they have it here. And the test case I did was, could you print a nail? So we have a nail model, and I printed out this nail in this resin. And I hit it with a hammer, and it went into the wood. And then I pulled it out with the hammer, and it came out, and it was still there, and I pounded it into the wood, and I took it out with the hammer multiple times. Now we're not gonna replace all of the nails. We're not building homes with resin nails, but it was a really interesting use case of the material because it's something that most people know. You hit a nail with a hammer, it's a hard metal thing, and it goes into wood or whatever. But now I made that nail out of resin, and it worked. So that's cool. So at the Formlabs booth at RAPID TCT, they have nails in that resin, and people can come by and hit it into wood.
Oh, cool.
The other thing was, we visited EOS, and I got to see how they print copper on their machines. And it was fascinating to watch. It was really exciting to see. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to at RAPID TCT this year is to go to the EOS booth and talk to them more about it, because the parts they made out of copper were perfect. It was so cool. And I got to post-process the parts in the EOS facility, and it made me want to work there. They said I have a job if I want.
And I know copper is a key material going forward.
Absolutely.
And it's tough, though. It's a difficult material to machine.
It's been difficult to print in the past. I think they've gotten through some roadblocks, and it's a little bit easier to do now just because of the knowledge they've gained over the years. But again, now we can start to create objects out of copper that couldn't be manufactured any other way. And with its mechanical properties and its ability to what is it? Its thermal capabilities, right? It can really transmit heat across it.
Yeah.
We have some really cool stuff ahead of us.
All right, well, thanks again.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you letting me have a chat here.